There. Good. Hi, guys. So we're live on Mr. Sci-Fi. We're live on the table. Hello, Deborah. How are you? And
Hello.
I guess we can get started. It's time. Um, I assume, David, that you want to go a little later, probably. So is that right?
I'm not set up with Mr. Sci-Fi yet, so yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So, Thane, do you wanna jump in and start?
Oh, sure. This beautiful November afternoon. Just at any rate, SAG-AFTRA character actor had I think 4 auditions since we met last.
Mm-hmm.
None of them has sent me a telegram and said report for work, but it's always a challenge and always fun.
Yes.
One of them asked me to do a British accent, and that went okay. Luckily, it's only a few lines. And then the second one had a bunch of Yiddish phrases that none of my Jewish friends could actually figure out.
Uh-oh. If we can mute our mics. Go ahead, Thane, please.
Could actually figure out the meaning of them as they were sprinkled about.
Right.
And we couldn't even find them online, and they were probably phonetically spelled, and everybody spells a little bit different. So I just decided this is what this means.
Okay.
In context, at one point he sort of is mumbling about things, and I just decided it must be here somewhere.
Well, in future, Thane, if that ever comes up again, send it to me, because my language at UCLA, the language I took was Yiddish. I took a year of Yiddish, and my mom understood Yiddish. My grandfather, of course, spoke it, as did my aunt. So, and I grew up in a Jewish neighborhood, so I probably could have deciphered that for you.
Yeah, well, it worked out. It was just a kind of salt and pepper in the conversation.
Yes. Yes.
So there's signs of life that industry is starting to come alive.
Yes.
Some speculation what the holiday season will be like, because often things start to wind down around this time of year. But have seen quite a few things coming through.
Great.
So I dug out an old monologue from Pod Joe.
That's great.
Pod Joe a few years ago, and
sure.
I dug it out, and I thought it's time to learn a new monologue. It's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
This afternoon, I spent 3 hours working with another actor on writing a scene for an exercise we're thinking of doing.
That's fine, sweetie.
And we'll see where that winds up. And so, staying productive, staying positive, staying involved, and looking forward to the next iteration of all this.
Great.
I did have a couple of inspirations for David about props and something, but I'm not remembering them in the moment. But
I saw them. I couldn't get logged onto them. They had it bugged.
They may have already.
Okay.
They may have already sent it off to someone.
Oh, okay.
But I had a couple of other things in mind that. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
And I have a small SUV, but I don't have a truck. And I see a sheet of plywood. It won't fit in my car. My pickup truck, it would just fit, and I could pick it up and get it home and have it ready to go whenever the time came. But the price of lumber these days, things like that are solid gold.
Well, 4x8 sheet of the most basic plywood is now $95.
Wow.
How much?
$95.
Wow.
Wow.
That's a
It
lot.
used to be $22.
Yes.
$18.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that is supply chain issue, and some of that is starting to mitigate, but it's still a shock to the system when you've got to buy a sheet of plywood to make something happen. I've started substituting a lot of particle board wherever I can.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
$8 for particle board.
So anything else you need, Thane?
Just keep it on, and I am starting around looking for an acting class to get back and involved with.
Okay.
Whenever somebody mentions it, I try to jot it down.
Okay. Great. Okay.
Good. No, that's
Terrific.
good. Keep
Swell.
active. Yeah.
Yay. 3 cheers, Thane. So, David, is there a Mr. Sci-Fi question?
There it is. Scott Baker says, which of the, quote, big questions, unquote, of existence do you think science fiction has come closer to answering than religious or philosophical scholars?
Huh.
Quite a question.
Well, science fiction has proven extremely good in predicting certain things in the cosmos. For instance, the fact that there will be other planets circling other stars, and now we know that most, if not all, the stars have planets around them. I'm hoping that science fiction's predictions about alien life being, ubiquitous will be accurate as well. Hopefully we'll know that very soon. And in terms of philosophical questions, all of that, I mean, H.G. Wells was really quite a genius. I mean, he talked about bacteria killing the Martians, and humanity splitting off into 2 separate species, and just fascinating stuff. So I mean, all the major genres of science fiction, H.G. Wells essentially invented, more or less. But cool, great. Okay, so
Judith Smiley.
Judith,
we have your name, but not your fit.
Are you there?
Image.
Are you there, Judith?
Are you there, Judith? We just have your name, not you.
Maybe not. So okay. So Dave, do you want to go? Dave Edison?
Sure, why not?
Oh,
There she is.
Oh, Judith's
There's
here.
Judith.
Okay, go for it, Judith.
Oh, hi.
We don't see you.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Well, let's see. I'm feeling much better.
Good.
The hand is still bothering me. I had surgery, so it's still, but my brain is starting to work again.
Great.
I've been collecting Apocalyptic, which I will work on this week and send it out to Billy, which I've been talking about for a while. The Dragon movie, David Bartlett was kind enough to give me notes. I'm going to continue with that. And I've got a new script that I'm working on, which involves voodoo and Kabbalah.
Great.
So I've been collecting books. Cherie was very kind to me, and she's invited me to be part of her table read on November 10th.
Great.
Which will be fun. And my brain is starting to work again, which is quite amazing since it's been dormant for almost a year. The new one involves New Orleans in the 1800s. Involves Marie Laveau and voodoo, which I've had some experience. I've been to an actual voodoo ceremony in Haiti.
This does not. This does not surprise me.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
This does not surprise me that you've been to a voodoo ceremony.
Actually explains a lot, Judith.
Oh, okay. All right.
Please.
It was. It's a story. We were driving. We went into a place they had never seen white people before, and the Tonto Macoute was sitting with an Uzi in one window and the other. And my husband didn't speak French, so he just pointed to me, and I had a lovely conversation with the Tonto Macoute, and they invited me to their voodoo ceremony. Oh boy, I gotta tell you. It's everything they say it is, but I'm doing some research, and I'm reading Barbara Hamley, who is amazing. Marcus, is she still around?
Yes.
Can I send you an email to send to her, because she's so amazing?
Sure.
She's absolutely amazing. I mean, the research that she had to do. What I am looking for, if anybody can help me, is I speak French, as we all know. I'm fluent in both French Canadian and regular French. However, the French Canadian, although it sounds like Creole, is not on the money. Does anybody know where I could hear something? Because once I hear the accent, so I could write in the dialect.
Huh.
Once I hear the dialect, I'll he's so funny. He wants your food.
Yeah.
I miss the puppies. You'll have to come over, please.
You bet.
And I forgot to say my movie is coming out next week.
Oh, great.
Oh, great. Yay.
I can't wait to see
What's the title?
And does anybody have any ideas where I can hear the dialect? Because like once I hear it, it'll be registered.
I do. I have used to work with a voice coach named Bob Korf and his wife. Bob was clever. He would have an actor come in who needed coaching in their accent to become Americanized, which is a lot of the work he got. They would have an authentic accent of a visitor from that country coming to the U.S. to speak English. And he would say, "Can I just record you?" And they had a 2-paragraph speech. They would record him saying that his actual accent from another country in the U.S. And they collected 30 or 40 of these. And there might be dozens more now. I'll bet you.
Can I get it on YouTube?
Yeah, maybe. I can put a link in the chat here for you guys too, because this is the best coaching thing I've ever run across. It's pretty neat.
Okay. Because the New Orleans dialect, the Creole dialect, as I learned in Haiti, is very close.
Yeah.
But it's not exact.
No.
Okay.
I'll put the link in the chat here.
Okay.
Great.
Thanks, darling. Appreciate it. Appreciate you all. I don't know how long I'm going to have the energy to stay, but I'm here.
Okay.
Yay.
Great. Yay. 3 cheers, Judith. So, David, is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Yes. Doc Gamble says, "What's the latest on Space Command?"
Yay. Well, we are busily at work completing the first 2 hours. So we're almost done with the visual effects. We're going to be shipping out a digital download of the first 2 hours prior to Christmas. And so we're busy at work. The score has been recorded in Europe by a full orchestra as scored by David Raiklin. David Bartlett and Dave Edison and Elaine and I are just busier than hell working on this thing. We have VFX artists plugging stuff in. We've got color correction being done. We have sound design being done. It's full speed ahead. I also have a VFX team working on the 3rd hour, and we've already started shooting the 4th hour. So, and not including the 2-hour bonus episode that we did during the pandemic. So it's busy times. And also, I've reached out to a number of my friends to lockdown manager and agent representation so we can take Space Command out along with the other series of the Showrunners Network to sell them. And so Jane Espenson and Roxanne Dawson and my friend Michael Nankin and many of my friends have recommended me to their representatives, and then we'll see how that goes. But this is all very new excitement. Michael Nankin, for those who don't know, was one of the top directors on Battlestar Galactica, and he was also a director producer on Defiance, as well as many other shows. And he's an old friend. We went to college together, and we had lunch today. He was back from Canada, and he was in town, and we had a lovely time. But Space Command is moving full out. I mean, Elaine and I are starting to we're going to be doing the drafts to finish the entire first season, just the rewrites on those scripts, and then, full steam ahead. So it's very, very exciting. And that's it. That's the answer. So Dave Edison, would you like your turn now?
Sure. Hi, folks. Hello, Mr. Sci-Fi people. It's Dave Edison, your relentless editor on Space Command.
Yay.
And other whatnot. Let's see, as Mark said, we're racing to get shot after shot done. We had a meeting yesterday. We went through most of the 2nd episode. We will finish up doing that tomorrow. And I've got a long list of notes of things to tweak and adjust and also whatnot. So we'll keep moving forward. We've got about a month and a half if we're going to deliver this before Christmas, and that is not impossible to do.
Great.
So we'll see what happens. Other than that, a music video that I edited for my friend Pat McGreal, comedian and writer, is being screened at the Dog film festival in San Diego. There's on Sunday, and there's a version of it that's happening in LA a week from yesterday. So we'll see what happens there. The feature film Fear Frequency that I was the editor on is
and Judith, I think you need to mute your mic.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Fear
How
Frequency.
good I am at technology.
Well, just hit it a few times. You'll find something. Fear Frequency is going to be at the LA Science Fiction and Horror Film Festival. And before we launched, there were a few of us on Zoom here mentioning that Michael Lopez, our dearly departed friend and table member here, whose film You'll Be Okay, I edited, and Bonnie Janowski, who's here on the Zoom, scored a really incredible soundtrack for. It was interesting. When I first heard the music, I said, this was not what I was picturing. Is this going to work? And it works amazingly well.
That's
So
great.
leave it to the experts.
Yes.
So anyway, so that film is a short film that's gotten some nice reviews so far and is screening at the Berlin Shorts Film Festival. Won something. I haven't found out yet what at the Tokyo Shorts Film Festival, and is also up for consideration this month at the San Francisco Transgender Film Festival. The film does have a transgender theme, and in fact, Bonnie wrote that theme, and it's a lovely theme. So moving forward, and Thane Allison just pointed out to us before we started that today would have been Michael Lopez's birthday. So raising a glass to Michael and remembering him fondly. And that is probably about it. So we'll talk to you soon. Be well. I hope everyone had a good Halloween, and we'll do another one next year.
Great. Thanks. Yay. 3 cheers, Dave. So is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question, David?
And by the way, for those of you who are on Zoom, as usual, I'm looking off screen here. I'm not just wandering. I'm actually working on different elements of Space Command out of that list that I mentioned. So
great.
Keeping busy.
Good work. So, David, is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Fit to be read says, do you ever film booktube book tags on your channel?
Book tags? I don't know what that means. I don't know.
Booktube is spelled like YouTube, all one word with uppercase on the 2 words.
I don't know about that. So, if anyone wants to educate me, I'm open to being educated. So, but yeah. So I don't know the answer to that. So let's see who's next on the screen. I guess Deborah, you're next. Go for it. No, I was going to try.
Did you manage to figure out how to share the screen?
Oh, David, that was a question for you.
Not yet.
Okay.
Oh dear.
I'll do it.
Yeah. So you want to play a video that we watch? Is that it?
No, I just want to do my lookbook, my pitch deck.
Okay.
Not all of it, even just a few pages of it.
All right.
If you can enable screen share.
I promise I'll have it by next week. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Great.
Okay. So I've been working on I've got my pilot written, and I've got my pitch deck redone.
Great.
And I'm getting ready to submit to a producer, and it's kind of nerve-wracking. And it's also a movie about Creole and integrated with Irish magic. So I was interested in what Judith was talking about. I've also been doing a lot of research about Creole, and I've got like 1 billion books from the library, but some of them are just beautiful, like Wandering in Strange Lands by a daughter of the Great Migration, reclaims her roots, and that is a really beautiful story. It's a true story. She goes back to learn about her, her family, and so there's a lot that I've been doing, and learning about Creole and all of that. So it's great. I love this series, and I'm hoping that I'm going to get to sell it one of these days. And I've really been working on it for a long, long time. So that's me for today.
That's great. Now this is now you want to turn this into a series.
I'm sorry, Len?
You want to turn this into this as a television series?
Yes, it's a television series, and
well,
it's three seasons is what I'm envisaging, and
well, that's great, because in pitching it, it's a great time for multiracial projects to come out.
Good.
So beyond the fact that there are a lot of wonderful actors, the money men are seeing the money in it. So that's that's really
great.
good. Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing it next week.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. Well, we'll save up the Mr. Sci-Fi, because Mark took our dog down, and so let's hang on. We'll move on to okay. Jalinda, would you like to go?
You want me to go?
Hey. Lovely to be here and great to see you. I'm Jalinda. In the discursive language, I have a little bit. I can say thank you in about 20 languages. Wow. And my hands remember sign language. My eyes, however, do not. Huh. So I can be helpful in showing what some signs may be, but I'm not, by any means. I took interpreting a good 30 years ago, but yeah, if you don't practice it, the muscle memory is still there. So my hands remember the signs, but I can't read it to save my life. It's been a busy week, but not a bad one. And I ended up not being able to work yesterday because my phone wouldn't come on, and our verification to log in is on my phone. So I was literally here with no way to even contact my boss. I finally did get it worked out through second channels, but so I unexpected started the process of packing my stuff. I found recently in recent events with Shatner going into space. I rewatched an episode of Outer Limits called "Cold Hands, Warm Heart."
Oh yes, yes.
It's got a really sweet quote in it that makes me feel it's very profound for right now, because he says, "So he became a bird, started flying higher and higher. August 1956, remember? Then one day he broke through the troposphere right into the stratosphere. And right then, for the first time, he understood the purpose of his life was to lead the way to new worlds, new life, new knowledge." And I was like, it was cool because there is, so many years ago, Shatner's plane does exactly what he just did. But instead of looking outward to space to see that's where I'm supposed to lead the way there, he turned to look back at the planet and wants to promote saving the planet, protecting our planet, which I found it just really profound in light of getting to go there, that this was the quote from so many years ago.
Wow.
I don't have anything new. I actually got about 30 trick-or-treaters on Halloween, which the only way I know that is I counted the bookmarks I had left. So somewhere around 30. That's a pretty big deal for this neighborhood. We usually don't see that many people. But my helmet turned out to be a really big hit. I put little fairy lights around the outside, just inside the screen, the shield. And it actually ended up looking pretty cool.
That's great.
The only drawback is that with the lights on at night, I have a big giant knee staring right back at me. So I couldn't see anybody, but it worked really well. And when we do have the helmet design contest, I've got a head start here. I'm ready.
Okay, great. Well, welcome to again. Okay, so Mark is still wandering. I apologize to the questions from to my right, but we have Nathaniel from New York. Yes. Hello. Can you unmute yourself? There you go. Okay. Hi.
Hi, everybody. I'm actually back in Los Angeles because
great.
a couple of projects that I'm going to be working on this month. One that was pushed back to November that would be supposed to have started in June. I think I mentioned this the last time I was here, called Vaudevillains. Yes, it's been pushed to November. So any week now, I'm going to be sequestered with 11 other actors, and we're going to do this comedy sketch show, this pilot. We're going to try to shoot the first 2 episodes.
Wow.
And I'm really excited about it because it's the first time in my over 30-year career that I'm going to be billed as not only a performer, but a writer as well. I'm creating my own content. I purchased Final Draft 12, and I'm very happy I did. I did it reluctantly, but now after the fact, I'm...
Oh.
Yeah, why did I wait so damn long? Anyway, in addition to that, this Saturday, another esteemed table member, James Moore, has a script called Fury that is raising a lot of eyebrows, and he is going to have it read by a number of actors, myself included, this Saturday at noon. And I am looking forward to that, not only because he's a wonderful writer and it's a chance for me to flex my acting muscles, but there are going to be a number of people in the audience that are movers and shakers, casting agents, TV execs for both film and television. The last time I read something of his, someone reached out to me from the head of casting of Disney, and wanted my contact information. So I'm going to strike while the iron's hot because it's been a very, very slow pandemic season. And I need work.
That's exciting. Wow.
Having said that, I'm also looking forward to everything that's Marvel coming on. Do you remember Alfie, the kid that I brought to?
Of course.
Yeah, he's actually on the Zoom. He's hiding, but he's in here somewhere.
Oh, wow. Okay. Hi.
He's been doing a lot of work. And his father, his television show was released of La Brea. His dad's executive producer on that. Anyway, he and I are going to go see the Eternals in a couple of days. I wanted to say thank you for letting me invite other people from the New York table. The New York table hasn't resumed yet.
Oh,
so
okay.
A number of the people that I've reached out to, like Deborah, hi Deborah, are here from New York watching, but at some point when we get the New York table up and running, they're going to join that as well, as will I, because I do plan on going back there once I'm finished here. But those 2 things are the only thing on the docket for the month of November. I'm still auditioning, still self-taping, still getting the hang of all this thing. And I too, David, cannot screen share, but I gotta figure that out because I need to do stuff. So I'm gonna get it sorted. I can't do it either.
The screen share works by the host. So the host can say screen share and can click on a screen of theirs. So they can make Deborah the host, and she could then screen share. And there's a way to make someone the host from the original host to switch it during the Zoom and back. But I think Mark is the host because Adam usually does the hosting for us, and he's not doing the, all I'm doing is Mr. Sci-Fi. I can screen share my screens. Like
it's the item to the host. Didn't know that.
Yeah, we've been disabled for the Zoom call, so Adam can set it up for us when he comes back, and we'll figure this all out. But that's how it works.
Okay. I'm looking forward to seeing Deborah's lookbook next week. So yeah, all right. Cool. So thank you for your time and your ears and your patience. Good to see all your wonderful faces. And even you, Judith, I know you're hiding somewhere. Hope you get better.
I'm here.
We just don't have
you're there. I just want to see you
we
someday.
Don't have your image.
Get well.
Judith, we can't see you.
I don't know what's wrong with my computer. I'm sure it's something that I did.
Probably the computer. Don't worry.
Okay.
That's my time, and thank you.
Nathaniel, if there's anybody that you want signed up for the California table from New York, our lovely David Bartlett does that, and he makes it much easier than it used to be. It used to be quite arcane, and somehow he's streamlined it. I have no idea how, but if you want to have anybody else signed up, then just let David know.
Are you the person to make sure that people's that I've added are on the email list? Because Deborah didn't get the link this week. Okay, so to make sure.
I'm glad you brought that up, because Deborah has a problem with her email that I can't use it to do this with, or even write back to her. Something's wrong.
Oh,
I don't know what.
Deborah, you might want to unmute your mic so you can maybe troubleshoot and get this sorted out. I mean, I don't mind sending you the links, but if there's a way you can get it directly, you know,
Thanks.
There's certain email addresses that will not work with the table's email setup. So
I'm talking about just being able to answer her email myself.
Oh.
I don't know why.
Check
That's
to make sure.
weird, but you got my email.
Yes, but I can't send you.
That's weird.
I don't understand. Let's sort it out, but not right now.
Okay.
Okay, there's my email. I don't know. Okay, thanks though, David. That's great. Thanks.
We'll get it fixed.
And by the way, folks, you can look forward to seeing Nathaniel in these 2 episodes, this 2-hour episode of Space Command that's coming up ASAP. He plays Science Officer Chilton, and he's pretty damn terrific.
Yeah, he is. Yes, he
Thank
is.
you, Mr. Edison. I appreciate that.
Well,
I love all the Daves.
Yes. A little bit of a shout out.
Yeah,
Appreciate it, brother. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. Mark is taking a while to get around the block, but I'm sorry. Deborah, did you have a chance to talk yet? I was cooking food earlier.
I did speak.
Oh, you did?
But
Okay.
I wanted to share my lookbook, my page deck.
Oh, that's
right. I'm really
right.
nervous about it, and I'm trying to get it.
That's right. Yeah. Well,
as good as I
get
can. But anyway, I'll just hang out for a bit and listen.
Okay. No, lovely. That's
Thank
great.
you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, Carol.
Hi, everybody. I'm so glad to be here. I can undo, just be here, who I am, and no pretenses. Thank you. Elaine, thank you again for doing this. It's so divine. And David Bartlett, thank you for giving Cherie my number. I appreciate that. It's very kind. A couple things. Oh, just for the record, Deborah, this is funny. When if you are 1/8 Black in New Orleans, you're considered an octoroon. You're considered Black. Yeah, and when I was on a tour of New Orleans, the tour guide said to me, "Excuse me, are you Black?" And I said, "I don't think so. I'm from Detroit, so sort of. By injection, so sort of." And she said to me, because I have light skin and dark eyes and curly hair. And she said to me, you could be octoroon. And I said, yes, I could. That'd be very exciting. I love dancing. But my family's from Eastern Europe. But it was always fun to think for a minute I might have been. So
She was Black.
I'm a little octoroonish. So yeah, that was fun. I'm actually at AFM this week. I'm there online. I'm having a wonderful time, except something very weird is going on. And I don't know how much of this is your purview. I should be talking to a bunch of lawyers. This woman picked up my dating down book. And basically, she said, if I take it to AFM and people like it, you will, and I'm there anyways right now, but she said, I guess we're on different floors. She said, you will be essentially have to pay her. I will, for shoving it around, and I'd have to make her ultimately an executive producer. There's no contract, right? There's no nothing. But you know what? Her game is she's a bully. I figured it out. She's a bully, and I'm, sorry to be to bring this negative vibe in here, but she and I are on completely different frequencies, and I got affected by her bulliness the other day. All of a sudden I went, whoa. So, I'm going to have to email her and say, listen, do what you want at AFM, but we have nothing signed. There's nothing signatory between us. There's nothing going on. And it's kind of sad because I don't know. Then you start questioning, was my stuff really that good for her to take? Or did she just pick up a book along the way? But I'm going to have to get pretty assertive about this and just not let whatever happens happen, then me pick up the slack at the end. But I know it sounds so stupid and childish, but she's real adamant, this chick. She's strong as hell, and she has done some good things for a couple of friends of mine. And, but it's just friggin' nerve-wracking that she has to flood her attention deficit disorder all over me. And who knows, maybe you're sociopathy. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, that's hard. I mean, there are a few bullies when, in terms of the table, I had to deal with a couple of female bullies, over a period of time. And nobody else would confront them. I mean, a lot of people just get so scared of bullying that they just back. But I had no choice. I was, the ostensible head of the group. And you get them to back off when you just stand, but they flail and threaten and this and that, but nothing happened.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you for
Sure.
the support. Yeah. I
hard.
don't know how people can conduct their life like that. Really, she was like picking a fight with someone. I wasn't fighting. This is what we're gonna do. But no, you don't understand. There's nothing contracted here. There's nothing legal between us. Right?
Right.
Because this business, all of us, we're all artists, but when you come down to it, it's all money.
Yeah, you just have to, with people like that. And fortunately, early on, she's giving you all of the skinny on who she is. It's not like she changed after she lured you in to sign a contract. She showed her true colors right up top. So yeah, I'm glad that you're able to just say no, stop.
Because she mesmerizes you, and we all, please everybody, please be aware of that in the future. Because we're when you go into a situation, I think that comes from passion, you get a little blind.
Yeah.
All stare in love and war and creativity. And you get a little blind, but no, yeah, okay. So
the same thing with men.
Yeah.
Yes, but I can beat men up. Look at that. So
very, 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 very nice. Yes. No, but yeah, good. It's always good to stand firm against the people who bully and who just put the grab on. But we are vulnerable to that because it can feel like such an indifferent industry. And if anybody says, I'm really interested in you and your work, it's immensely seductive.
Thank you. It's like a flash head. It's like, whoa, I'm right here, babe.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, okay.
No, can I just say though that happened to me too?
Really?
And yeah, it was scary. I actually, it knocked me out of focus for about a month even.
It throws you off.
Yes.
And you think so strong and stable and all, but they're, sociopaths are always better than us.
Scary. It was bad. Anyway, I just wanted to give you that support.
No, really. I'm sorry to bring that up here. It's such a positive group, but I needed to dump it somewhere.
No. I mean, it's much better to be forewarned and to know that happens to a lot of us, because most of us we sort of expect other people to not be any crazier than we are, and there are a few who are. And when they're crazy aggressive, we have some, we're met with challenges. So, but good for you for wanting to stand firm. But yeah, they're out there, and you do have to be careful. And it's easy to be, for any of us to be seduced. Oh, they think I'm a really great writer, I'm a great actor, I'm a great whatever.
Because they look like us, they go out of their way to look like. I'm just reminded of this scene, the opening scene in Silence of the Lamb, where Hannibal Lecter's in jail, in a cage in jail, and all he hears are Jodie Foster walking her footfalls, and immediately goes, Ivy League, absent father, good student, not good in high school, good in bed. He doesn't even see her, and he has her all, because sociopaths do that. They can smell much better than we can. And so, I guess, we have to just, we have to all be careful.
And that also gives us all a note, a reminder that if somebody's working on something, not just to say, here's how it can be corrected, but to nurture each other. And if there's anything we like about each other's work, to say, that was really something, that was great, that affected me. So, we always have to remember that we don't know that we're affecting anybody or that our stuff has any merit until somebody else helps us by telling us, when we're in our little room, we're saying, oh, this is so clever, but it's very nice to have that confirmed.
It's the same thing I do. Oh, this is so great.
This is so great. But then
yes, and so too, there's three of us.
Yeah.
Come on. All right, I I will not bug you anymore. I'll keep you posted to
Okay,
my
great.
to my naivete in the future.
Okay, lovely. Okay, Mark is finally back, and David,
I have a Mr. Sci-Fi question for Elaine.
Yes.
Oh my God.
What's the question?
I know, right?
Okay.
There's actually two, but I can stagger them out.
Sure.
Mark Longo says, Elaine, is anything happening with the voiceless roar?
It's on hold right now. I've got some wonderful table people in it.
Mm-hmm.
And but right now I'm juggling multiple projects, so it's on hold. But I'm very eager to get back to it, especially given what's going on in the world today.
Yes.
And I can't even say America anymore because it's overflowing the boundaries.
Yes.
And if you are a leftist, as I am, you are not a happy camper.
Yeah, but you shouldn't probably be out camping.
Yeah,
considering the weather.
Yes, considering the weather and considering the fact that I'm about to be flooded and
in dog spit.
In dog spit. Well, no, flooded out, hurricaned out. But
Okay.
yes. So, but I'm really hoping to find a way to get some interest in that and some money.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Yay.
and Mark, you're finally back.
Yeah. So who's next?
Well, no, we just.
Where are you?
You missed. We just finished with.
I'm sorry, David. What did you say?
You can be next.
Yeah,
great.
Go for it. Go for it.
Go for it.
Hi, my name is David Bartlett. I am a filmmaker, a teacher, and a human rights activist, and a producer on Space Command.
Yay!
Yes, I have. My career goes back to my first film when I made when I was 10.
Mm-hmm.
I was inspired by 2 silent movies and TV, and the story is a Halloween-themed story, so I might as well tell that one.
Cool.
Frankenstein, the oldest actor in the film, by the way, is 9 years old. The Frankenstein and the Wolfman get in a fight. Dracula wakes up out of her coffin. So, female casting for Dracula. Even at that age, that was a good choice. She was very good at it. Fake fangs and a cape. I mean, she really went to town. She goes over. She stops the fight. She puts on a record, and everyone dances.
Mm-hmm.
The whole film. The same film I'm making to this day, basically. I understand there's a lot of problems in the Middle East and whatnot, but I don't get it. Put on a record. It's harder to shoot people when you're dancing. So, with that said, I went into high school with this attitude, and I worked in a lot of musicals and plays as an actor and a singer and a dancer and in technical theater and building sets and everything else. And then I went into college for 3 months. That didn't really work out for me. I took all the classes, and I thought that in film, there were only 4, and I blew through them all. I flunked out of everything. I had no idea what they were trying to teach me. So I started working in movie theaters, and I moved to LA in 1980 and started working on very giant movies as an intern and some very low budget movies with Roger Corman. And I moved into sound design, where I was working on films like Speed and Pulp Fiction and Total Recall and Predator 2 and Tremors and some others. And I started working on my own independent films, so now I have 65 film festival awards. And I have 2 Emmy nominations, and one of them is for producing. So, and then of course there's always a Space Command.
Mm-hmm.
So here we are now with the, let me see, the Space Command portion of the talk is about how you can get involved in Space Command yourself. There is a studio we have, which we build sets. And in fact, today was a bit of a studio day. I try to do once a week in there for sure. And sometimes it's quite a bit more than that, depending on if we're coming up shooting things or not. Right now, we're focusing very hard, as was said earlier, about getting the downloadable version of Space Command episodes 1 and 2 on the Christmas. So we're going great guns on that. And we are also still planning shooting a bunch of stuff coming up in the spring. And anyway, so if you want to be involved with that, you can contact me. You can work as a volunteer. You can work as a paid position. You can work in the field that you're in now if you want. You can also try your hand at another field, which I'm particularly good at, helping people transition. It's one of my favorite things. So you can write to me. I will put my email in the chat here, and then Mr. Sci-Fi can take it from my verbal voice as opposed to any other voice. DaveFilms@hotmail.com, DaveFilms@hotmail.com. And I will put that in the chat, as I said. Now, the table email. I have cracked the code in the table email. I have a super simple way to do it. All you have to do is, if you're not a member, you can get your name, first and last, full first and last, not initials, not Moogie Pie 12, no little nicknames or whatever. And any email that's not Yahoo. For some reason, Yahoo and the Space Command, Yahoo and the table email is not they don't work together. I don't know why. But if you have Gmail, piece of cake. But again, full first and last name. Sometimes people miss that part, but I need that. And I'll get you set up. I've had times, last week, 2 of the 3 people that told me about it during the table got put on the email during the table before we finished off. So it does not take long, depending on our little workflow. So if you have trouble with the table email now, you can also contact me and I can help you get it sorted out. The table email, for those of you that don't know, is networking of about 2,000 people right now, all over the world, and they're table members. They're trustworthy to that degree. They had to be vetted to be able to come onto the table email, and you can communicate with each other about different ways to help each other with your projects. There's table reading coming up with one of the table members that I'm helping to pitch in on with a voice. And there's probably a dozen table members on this thing now. And those things are lots of fun because you get to do the voices of roles that will be filmed later, but you can do the voices like a radio play style in the meantime, and it can be lots of fun. And other things, short films, feature films, TV shows, Space Command, it's all there. And you can participate to the degree that you want to and also ask for help for projects of your own. So again, my email, davefilms@hotmail.com. And that's about it for me.
Okay. Yay, 3 cheers. So is there a Mr. Sci-Fi question, David?
Yes. We have here, Gregory Krug says, Mr. Sci-Fi, any thoughts about a true story by Lucian of Samosata?
I would need to know the story. So I don't, because I have a vague memory of it, but not to where I can really comment on it. So
I'll give you another one.
Okay.
I've got a few piled up here. Mark Lungo says, Mark Lungo at Scott Baker. Okay. Isn't the Ghostbusters franchise at least partially sci-fi? I think it's completely sci-fi.
Yes. I mean, it has an element of magic and horror, but it's a science fiction story. Yeah, absolutely, because it has a technology or pseudo technology, and it basically is a melding of several genres in an extremely effective way, and also, of course, it's comedy as well. So it's terrific in every way. It's just a terrific job, and I'm hoping the new one will be good too. So let's see. So who's next? Mark Agushowitz. Go for it, Mark Agushowitz.
Hello. How you doing?
Good.
Good. Oh, what a week this has been. 3 days of being sick. Today I'm feeling fine, and my computer decides to get sick.
Oh, no.
More specifically, my Premiere Pro.
Huh. Wow.
Sick. So I spent like 3 hours on the phone with Adobe to have them just say, oh, we got to check in further. We'll get back to you within 48 hours.
Okay.
So, but talking with David Bartlett a little bit and with Dave Edison, I found some workarounds. So I'm back in business, kind of working without heavy issues. I mean, I could work before, it just had issues. And so now I've kind of found some workarounds. So thank you to those two for giving me some time to talk about it. All right, so let's see. Editing work's piling up, falling behind. Me and my wife have decided we're taking a vacation in January because we're just exhausting ourselves. And not only is editing work piling up at this time of year, I start doing Santa Clauses for kids. And this year, because everybody missed out last year, I guess they really want it this year. So there's a lot of those jobs coming in. Let's see, working on the Space Command Blu-ray stuff. I know you haven't seen anything yet, but you should be starting to see stuff shortly now that I'm back operational Premiere. I've got a lot of timelines that I just got to work on sound on.
Cool.
Me and David Bartlett talked a little bit about that too. And my movie review site's still up there. Underexposed Cinematic Treasures. I'm a little slow getting some recommendations up, but I am working on it. I think that's about it. I got some clients from a long time ago coming out of the woodwork and calling me. I just talked to somebody 20 years. I've done work for them, but I generally talk to the people who work for them. And just out of the blue, she just called me up to say, good job. And
wow.
We haven't talked in 20 years.
Hey.
so that was kind of cool. And I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anything. Oh, and I am kind of looking for a Premiere Pro guru, if anybody knows anybody, in case Adobe can't figure out my issue, because they seemed really lost on what I was dealing with. One of them had to do with just starting up the system. So if anybody knows anybody like that, shout me some names. And then the last thing is next week I'm going to meet with a friend of mine, Brian, who's also a table member. I invited him in about a year ago about writing a low budget script that we're going to shoot in Arizona. We may even make a trip out to Arizona so I can show him the locations that I have that we're going to base this feature around. I'm done with shorts. I want to do a feature.
Good.
That's what I'm out here for. I've done enough of the short things, and I've built up relationships with certain DPs and all that. And and I got a producer that I've worked with for 15 years as somebody that they hire, who said yes, they will help me produce this feature, help me try and find money and all that. So we are going to start working officially on that next week, on that script next week, or he's going to officially work. We're going to talk. It's based on my idea, so we're going to sit down and discuss all my ideas and everything, and then I'm going to kind of let him go off and do whatever he wants to do with it, and we'll see where it goes, because I got to finally make a feature. I have to finally make a feature before I tear my hair out.
Yeah, sounds good.
I'm already losing most of it, so it's all gone. Other than that, I think that's it.
Okay. Yay, Mark graduates. 3 cheers. So is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question, David?
Yeah, we had a little bit of a bullying thing going on there for a minute, and there's a couple more people who've joined in. It might be worthwhile just touching on a little bit more with Mark here. Belinda B says, bullying doesn't have a gender. I'm way more afraid of the female narcissist. I can attest to that. I've experienced that. And in the digital age, I think teenage girls have more bully power than boys with more muscle than brains ever did.
Well, I mean, it basically, in terms of behavior, fandom, science fiction fandom has always had a problem with a gossipy, negative energy. And I think it's incumbent upon all of us to take personal responsibility for our behavior and not engage in flame wars, and to try to see the best in people, to see how you can better situations rather than make them worse. So I think it always falls back to individuals, and if you see someone being bullied, don't engage the bully, engage instead the person, and say look, you don't have to be part of this. You don't, in other words, you can support them without exacerbating the war. And that's what I would suggest. So
can I say something about the bullying thing?
Sure.
Because I almost gave up on this career because of the bullying. And I worked for a woman. She was married to somebody relatively famous. I won't say who it was, but she was a complete bully in the editing room, and she would swear and be insulting for no reason at all right in front of other people. And I've dealt with quite a few people like that, and what I've learned now that I've been doing this for 22 years, that you'll feel better in the long run if you just say no to the job or the person and get away from that. Because it just gets really, really frustrating. And a couple of years ago, but talk to the person first, because a couple of years ago, I had a 15-year client starting to kind of bully me. And I actually talked to her and said, if you want me to keep working for you, you will stop doing this, or you can take your drives back. And for the last 2.5 years, it's been a wonderful relationship.
Good.
Totally understood that she's overstepped her bounds. She's done everything she can to kind of make things flow a lot easier. So sometimes if you talk to them, you can better the situation. And then there's sometimes like this other woman that I mentioned at the beginning, where I literally walked out on her. She had a project due 10 o'clock in the morning the next day. And I walked out and she said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm leaving." She said, "Well, but I need to have this by 10 o'clock tomorrow." And I said, "Well, you're not going to unless you start being really nice to me." And she was incredibly nice to me for the rest of the night. We got it out. And then I left, never to see her again. And my life's been better not having her in there. So I say, out of personal experience, talk to the person first.
Yes.
And if it might change things, but if it doesn't matter what the situation. Get out.
Great.
Just get out. You'll be much happier for it.
Cool. Sounds great. Oh, Deborah, yes. Oh, can you unmute?
Oh, unmute.
We can't hear you.
Can you unmute?
There you go.
Okay.
So I'm really new in this business. I've been writing forever, but new trying to do all this. And I got someone really interested in me and hooked up. They paid me a deposit to write a movie.
Great.
That was all great, exciting. And then this guy phones me and starts screaming at me. And I just waited for him to stop. And then I said, "Don't ever talk to me like that again." And then he slammed the phone down. And then the next day I said, I got an apology. No, he said, "Thank you for your apology," the next day. And I haven't done anything since with him.
Right.
And that was the story, Nathaniel, that you know the whole story about. But yeah, it's too much. It was too much. And, I'm 61 years old. I'm not interested in that.
Right.
Not interested in working with that at all.
Yes. And this is why it's very important to observe people who really comport themselves appropriately and respect their coworkers, because again, as I always say, there are two Hollywoods: the Hollywood of awful, toxic people, and the Hollywood of good people who stand by their word, and all of that stuff. And that doesn't mean you don't have friction. It doesn't mean you don't have arguments at times, but it does mean that you're working with people who are sort of on the same wavelength and want to do good work. And I think that's where you can, circle back. But again, see, part of the problem is that unlike brain surgery, where there's a very clear delineation of what the training is, in Hollywood, TV and film, there's no, someone could just start writing and never having gone to college, never having done anything, they could make it, and justifiably, and someone else who's gone to film school could fall by the wayside. Any number of things. It's amorphous. And so as a result, finding out who really knows what they're doing becomes a much more difficult task. So there's that. So great. So terrific.
When you were out walking the dog, I brought up something that I was being strong-armed about something. I brought up the bullying thing.
Yeah.
That's why there's a theme right now.
I see. Well, I think we can
bring you back into the loop.
Yeah, no, I think we can. I think we've pretty much said what we had to say on the subject, and now we can talk about terriers or whatever. So okay, but they're bullies. God knows there's bullies. That's why I was walking the dog.
Yeah,
they were bullying me.
He is a little bully dog.
Yes, little dog bully. So okay, great. So who's next?
Bonnie,
go for it, Bonnie.
Hi. Okay. So I've been I sent an email to the table yesterday because I have a concert on Saturday at 2 o'clock in Burbank, but also online, 2 p.m. Pacific Daylight, just before we go to Standard on Sunday, Standard Time. So it's a composer's concert, free admission, will be all original works. I'm playing a piece of my own and also a piece of another composer. So there's that, and then I'm working on I wrote a theme for a podcast, a new podcast that's going to start tomorrow, and a friend of mine, and doing a big arrangement of a piece that's going to be recorded, I think, in the next week or so. So just a lot of different things. It's really cool that Tamir forwarded an article, an interview that he did, and that was great. And I'm speaking of Mark Lopez film, the You'll Be Okay, and winning awards and all kinds of things. Great. And just paying tribute to Michael on what would have been, I think, his 60th birthday.
Wow.
Was,
Wow. It's very sad.
I think, yeah. So we all just hope that he can sense from above, but
yeah,
wonderful lasting tribute to him in his work, his writing, his acting.
Yeah.
So that's really wonderful that's for posterity to share. So
yes,
just thinking of him, and anybody needing music, just let me know.
Hey, Bonnie. So is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question, David?
There is. Scott Baker says, and this is a Halloween theme kind of onwards
Sure.
now, obviously. If they are not scary and the writers do their best to scientifically rationalize their existence, could a quote ghost story quote be considered sci-fi? Have you ever seen the like?
Yes. Yes. Again, my definition of a science fiction story as opposed to a fantasy story is, in fantasy, the fantastic element is just because. You just say it's magic, it's whatever. In science fiction, you have a technological or pseudo-technological justification for the fantastic element. I mean, there's other parameters too, but that one's a really good one, because then you said, okay, well, if Ghostbusters is a science fiction story about ghosts, and so forth. I mean, yes, one could absolutely any science fiction story. I mean, Matheson was a big one for trying to merge genres, and on a Twilight Zone episode like Death Ship, and I actually have that spacesuit behind me that was used in that episode. He wanted to combine the science fiction story with the ghost/horror story, and it's about 3 astronauts who land on an alien planet, and they see a crashed duplicate of their own ship, and when they go inside, they find their own dead bodies. And the issue is this telepathic aliens trying to fool them and scare them, or are they in fact dead? And it's a great episode, and it has the trappings of science fiction, but it also certainly has a lot in the way of ghost stories and so forth.
Portrait of Jenny.
Portrait of Jenny. Well, Portrait of Jenny really isn't science fiction. Portrait of Jenny is a ghost story, but a very good one. And if you've never seen that, it's a great movie with Jennifer Jones and Joseph Cotton. I highly recommend it. So,
Mark, can I ask a question regarding your answer?
Yes.
So then, how does a film like the Marvel movies or the DC movies, is that science fiction or is that fantasy, or is there some?
It's a very interesting question. It kind of straddles the two. Prior to Stan Lee creating all of those characters, a lot of superheroes in the 1940s, they had a magical element like Shazam, Captain Marvel, and so forth. But then with the advent of the late 50s, early 60s, and atom bomb tests and all of that, many of the Marvel superheroes are given their powers via exposure to radiation, one kind or another. And characters like the Flash and Green Lantern and so forth, again, it was science fictional explanations for their powers. But then you get guys like Thor, and he's a god in the Norse pantheon. So again, it was sort of like whatever gives the guy the power, and then you just kind of uts it. But there's strong science fiction elements in all of the comic book heroes of the late 50s and early 60s, and yeah, so there's definitely that. But superhero movies, of course, are their own genre, and so they're also that comes with its own rules as well. So there you go.
Thank you.
You bet, of course. So is it Elaine's turn now? No. Whose turn? Galinda? Yes.
No.
What? Who?
Yeah, Galinda.
Galinda, have you had your turn?
Yeah, we did Galinda. Okay.
So it's you.
Okay.
It's Elaine. Go for it, Elaine. Go for it.
Hey, go for it.
Yeah.
Yes, just juggling a multitude of things. But as has been mentioned before, our focus is on doing a polish for Space Command.
Yes, the first 2 hours.
First 2 hours.
And getting it out.
So yes, and thank God we have a team where we can sort of ease each other's desperation.
Well, bad joke.
Bad joke.
So, okay.
No, I mean it's really trying to get.
We're doing great.
We're doing great.
Yeah.
It's kind of the fun part of where you've laid out the basics, and then you're just really focusing on getting the moments to sing.
Uh-huh.
So that's interesting, and juggling a number of things, including the South African project. Someone may get a lead that could get it going again.
Yes.
And
Ashes, we're waiting to hear back from Unreal Engine to see if we'll get that $500,000 grant.
So just a lot of things going on, and we're waiting for the moment that we can start to once again shoot. Love working with actors.
Sure.
And making it real. So
anything you need?
No,
anything
that's
you need?
it for me.
No, yay, Elaine! 3 cheers, Elaine!
Elaine?
Yes.
Yes.
What is the South African project? I'm South African.
You are. Do you know Lord Peter Hain?
Say it again.
Peter Hain, Lord Peter Hain.
Lord Peter Hain. No.
Well, okay. Lord Peter Hain is in the House of Lords in England. His family were from South Africa. He was the primary figure in the anti-apartheid sports boycott in England. And it's about how his family basically...
There's a very good short book that you can get online called Ad and Wall.
By Peter Hain.
Well, he's written like over 20 books.
But Elaine and I were brought aboard as producers, and Elaine was brought aboard as the writer. And we went throughout South Africa and the UK interviewing the witnesses and Peter and his family. And so Elaine's written the first 2 hours of a 4-hour miniseries, and that's
it started out as a film, and then it spread out. But it's really about because they were adamantly anti-apartheid and took many risks and lost some friends, and then were driven out of the country. So he wanted to write about his family, but he himself had a remarkable background. He got the first Irish Peace Accord. He was elected to the House
of Commons.
House
then he
of
became
Commons, and
a
then,
Lord. Yeah.
And then they asked him. Then the party asked him to go into the House of Lords for a liberal influence, because the House of Lords, for those of you who don't know, the vote is with the House of Commons, not in the House of Lords. That is advisory. But they wanted someone who would have a liberal leaning. He's the only socialist in the House of Lords.
Anyway.
And an amazing, wonderful man. And he's still fighting the fight in South Africa and all over the world.
As a peace activist.
As a peace activist. Yes. And so I was honored to be brought on board and to meet the entire family, all of whom are amazing. And we're trying to get
a buyer for that project.
Yeah.
Yes. So anything else?
Wonderful. That sounds amazing.
It is.
Okay.
It is a great project. We had a grand time, a scary time at times. I mean, it was hard for the people who were being oppressed, but we had a really
it was a great
fascinating
adventure
time in South Africa.
And then we went on safari, which was quite fun.
Yeah. Also nice.
Yeah.
So when you say you're looking for a buyer, what do you mean by that? You've already made the movie?
No. It's just in script. It's just in
No.
script form at this point. So we need a network or a VOD platform to pick up the project, to basically commission it.
Producer, or a buyer. And there's a draft of the screenplay written and
an outline of the remaining 2 hours.
The remaining 2 hours written, but we're keeping it up with Black Lives Matter and with all of the things that are happening now. So it's fortunately because we worked in television for so many years, the material is flexible to focus on where people are feeling cut off and confused, to really focus toward those specific issues that are happening here and now.
Yeah.
Even though it started with apartheid.
Cool. Excellent.
Yeah.
So yay. 3 cheers, Elaine. Excellent. So David, is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Someone jumped on it. I was how's the Unreal Engine grant updated? You kind of covered that.
We did. We did. We're waiting. So any other questions? That's it. Okay. Well, then it's me, wonderful me. Yay. Hello, guys. So a lot's happening now. On a sad note, I mentioned last week that my youngest brother Sean passed away. He was awaiting a liver transplant, and sadly took a turn for the worse. And he was only 43. He leaves behind a young son and daughter and a wife. But he actually, like as with my brother Jim, who worked on Space Command, Sean actually made this blaster for Space Command that we're gonna be utilizing in the show. So he'll of course get the credit and all of that. But he was a dear man and had a loving heart, and it's really a shame. I really feel the medical institutions failed him, but c'est la vie. But he's having a Zoom memorial on Saturday, and so Elaine and I will be part of that, of course. And I've been in touch with my brothers and my other brothers and my sister and my stepmom and so forth. So so that's going on, sadly, but also on other fronts, things are going well. You know, Space Command, as Elaine mentioned, is going well. Showrunners Network is moving along very, very well. I'm having lunch with an executive with Netflix in about a week and a half, and we're actively going out after representation now, and that seems to be going well. And
Mark,
yes,
sorry to interrupt you. I forgot to bring up another thing earlier that's fun.
Sure.
About the studio, Space Command Studio. Xavier, who works with us all the time, has been developing a lot of skills with 3D printing. I guess there's two kinds of them. There's one where you have a block of material that's cut away from, and there's another one that builds up things. He built this little model of the inside of the studio.
Wow, how fun.
Oh, how fun.
That's our green screen, the white there.
Wow.
This beams in the ceiling if you look through the roof. And underneath this, which is hard to capture, is a little tiny version of the grid for the lighting that he's been building for us.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Well, that's pretty interesting.
Great.
Yeah, I don't know how we're going to fit in there, but it's great.
Not either.
Yeah, it's
Well, I guess
swipe it away with anger, right?
Well, I mean, I remember that the first movie you worked on, David, was Under the Rainbow, which was a reenactment of the Munchkins shooting Wizard of Oz. So maybe you've kept some of the names on your Rolodex, and you can utilize that. But
or he can make us into movies.
Our cover probably gone now, but I'm sure some of them are still there.
Yes. Well, when I was a producer at Universal on Sliders, one day I was walking across the studio, and there was a table by the restaurant, and sitting at the table was Billy Barty signing photos. And it was kind of like, why are you here? Why are you doing this? It was so odd. I talked to him. He was a very pleasant guy, but it was a very odd moment. I think he was there as the president of the Little People's Association to kind of spread information about little people and hiring them and utilizing them both in front of and behind the camera. But you would every now and then you would encounter one of these strange things, and that was one of them. So
one time I ran into Jerry Marin
yes
at CVS, and it's always fun when you ask somebody the question they're not expecting to hear.
Yeah,
because everybody asks about the Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
And I asked about working with the Marx Brothers and at the circus.
Wow, that's cool. I'm sure his face lit up when you asked him that question.
Yeah, it was a little bit different. So he said, he just started laughing. He said, those guys, they just cracked us up all day long. I said, but you weren't Jerry Marin. He said, no, I worked under my original name there. I think it was my second movie, he said. But it was very nice.
Yeah.
Wow,
well, if you ever want to see a very young Billy Barty, there's a scene in the movie Nothing Sacred where Frederick March goes to Carol Lombard's small town, and everyone's treating him like shit, and a little boy runs out of his front yard, bites Frederick March on the leg, and then runs away, and that's a very young Billy Barty playing a kid. And so that's 1937. So pretty fun. So okay, great. Well, so in terms of anything else, I don't know. I'm sure I'm forgetting a lot. The new book is with my publisher. That's going to be coming out very, very shortly. I have to remember to reach out to my publisher because I want to do the audio book. I want to read it, and I have to talk to them about the rights issues and see how we want to go about doing that. But what?
Twilight Zone?
Yeah, so we're about to launch the Twilight Zone campaign where I'm going to do 104 audio commentaries because I've already done 52. That would complete the series. So we just have to launch it, and so we're in the process of doing that. And and I have my YouTube channel, Mr. Sci-Fi, which we're simulcasting with. So if you're not subscribed to Mr. Sci-Fi, please do, and and hit the like button because every little bit helps. And that's I think
Twilight Zone minutes.
I'm doing those every day, more or less, on Mr. Sci-Fi, and I finished the first season, and now it's on to season 2. And of course, I was the guest of honor of the Rod Serling Fest, and I got to get together with Jody Serling and Ann Serling over meals, and they're open to the idea of the new Rod Serling show that I want to do, and so that's very cool.
When are you going on the radio?
I'm going to be on Coast to Coast next Friday night at 11 p.m. Pacific time, and just found out about that. And so if anyone wants to hear me on the radio, that's the place to do it.
Friday, right?
Not tomorrow, a week from Friday. Yeah.
And if you have any of those,
Landline again?
I may, Bonnie. It's a good question. Thank you for asking.
Okay. You do. You can.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Thanks so much. So,
If you and if you have any of those Twilight Zone minutes, send me.
I will. And Nathaniel, what were you saying?
I just went to YouTube and I put in Mr. Sci-Fi. Are those questions coming from your chat? I see it says Mr. Sci-Fi. Right now it's live.
Yeah, it's live. It's a simulcast. Yeah, I'm doing a simulcast.
How that was.
Yeah.
That's
yeah. It's
great.
we live in an amazing time, don't we? And so everything is moving along and it's great fun. And and on we go. Yeah. So okay, great. So anything else, guys? I think we've covered all the things we need to cover tonight.
I have a question.
Of course,
was
Carol.
there ever a live theater based on Twilight Zone?
Yes. There was a big hit play in London a couple years ago, and also a number of different small theater companies have done different Twilight Zone episodes as one-act plays, and they work really well as one-acts. They're very, very solid, and so yeah. There's a lot.
Why don't we produce an evening of that when the pandemic's over?
We can talk about that later.
Okay.
There's not my dream of heaven, I must say.
Carol, you go for it.
Yeah. But so everything else is good and lots to do and lots of fun stuff to be part of and
if you know any producers with lots of money and a social consciousness. I got some scripts for them.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Scripts for them.
But you know what? Now that you mentioned that, Elaine, I'll send you a text message. Alon Struzman, he's producer. In fact, he's in London right now. For Keshet's projects. He's just produced La Brea.
Great.
And
cool.
You put his son in your show. So
yes.
I mean, hey, there's connection. So I can send you his email and you can go from there.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
I don't know when he's going to be back from London. I imagine sometime next week.
Great. Well, you guys can talk. That'll be great. That'll be terrific.
If his son is still in acting, he was a disciplined little person.
Yeah, he was great. He was great to work with.
And I've got a lot of my things have roles for
kids,
for boys.
Yes.
Boys.
Yes.
This is my note that Alpi sent me.
Wow, that's so sweet.
Wow.
That's very sweet.
I really like working with Space Command from Alfie Strutzman.
Wow.
He scribbled out space. He made a little mistake, but he corrected it.
Wow, but that's great. That's great,
That's
and
really
it's
sweet.
Penmanship, and no, it's good. So
Thank you. Thanks.
So
he just turned 8 that day.
that's very, very sweet. Well, great. So we're gonna see you next week, guys, and eventually we're gonna get the live component of the table back at Patty's, but we want to make sure everyone feels safe and secure for us doing that. And that's all the main stuff. I think we covered it. So until next time, everyone stay safe, stay well, and if you need anything, let us know. Okay. So take care, guys. Bye. See you next time. Bye. Bye. And bye, my Mr. Sci-Fi friends. We'll talk soon.